Make sure you pay us a visit tonight before you retire for the night. I need help cleaning my bathrooms because I can't be inhaling any bleach at this age. And also, the guest plates and silverware need polishing.
Hi, Mrs. Dixon. I think there must have been a miscommunication of some sort. Kevin and I just checked out of our hotel and we're about to head on over to the airport so we can go on our honeymoon. We can't come over to your house to clean your bathroom. Is this a joke? Are you trying to haze us, Camille?
Oh, I never joke, dear. Don't you ever undermine me like that again. I don't care for it much. I'm giving you directions as a family elder. All you need to say is yes, ma'am, and come do what I tell you to do. Young people these days, they have no common sense. As the newest member of this family, I would have liked for you to have taken the initiative to find something to do already. But I can let it go just this once. I understand you're still riding off the high of having a wedding. You're as good as my personal assistant, now that you're my daughter-in-law. Don't you worry about your honeymoon. I went ahead and told Kevin to cancel the flight, so stop being so naive and come here at once.
You what? You made Kevin cancel our honeymoon. Why would you do that? Why would Kevin do that? It wasn't a honeymoon for him alone, it was ours. I even paid for half the expenses. He can't make a decision by himself to cancel it like that. Why wouldn't he discuss it with me first?
Obviously, because he respects my wishes more than yours. I am his mother after all, you know. I carried him around for 9 months, gave birth to him, and raised him his whole life. Besides, he's always been a good mama's boy. He's never once said no to me, ever. All I had to tell him was that I was sad and hurt to have to see him go on a trip to the Bahamas, when I myself have never even set foot outside of this country. Kevin, that sweet boy of mine, called your airline and canceled your tickets then and there. He even vowed to take me somewhere even better soon. He didn't tell you about that? No matter, I'll expect you here within the next 3 hours.
I can't believe this. I don't even know what to say. I'm at a complete loss for words. I can't believe I fell for Kevin's macho act. If I had known he was such a mama's boy, I would never have said yes to his proposal, let alone a first date. He used to make such a big fuss about how much he hates mama's boys. He used to call out his friends at the mere mention of their mothers. Was it all an act? I knew something was off. He seemed to take it too far at times. Wow, you two are just the greatest showman mother and son duo, aren't you? Whatever happened to the sweet, warm, welcoming new mother-in-law that I came to love and appreciate? It seems as though she disappeared as soon as the wedding vows were read.
Well, what can I say? I needed help around the house, and what better candidate is there than a daughter-in-law? You were such an easy target, the lowest hanging fruit if I ever saw one. Especially one as eager as you to please everyone you meet for the first time. It was a no-brainer, really. If I'd shown my true colors from the beginning, would you have married Kevin? Of course not. Like you said, you wouldn't even have gone on a date. Don't take it personally, Jocelyn dear. It's all for the sake of this family. Plus, if you're ever lucky enough to bear a son, like me, you'll be very handsomely rewarded later on when you yourself become a mother-in-law. Isn't that something exciting to look forward to? 'Tis all but the cycle of life for women. You can't fight it. So come on over so I can start giving you lessons on everything from scratch on how to be a good housewife.
Housewife lessons? What is this, the 40s? I can do things around the house just fine, thank you very much. I don't see why I would need lessons from you. Is your house different than any other house? Is yours an alien ship?
Hush! You don't know the first thing about how this household runs. Each household has their own traditions, recipes, and rules. I'm sure your mama had her own way of making potatoes, didn't she? Now it's time for you to learn how the Dixon women make potatoes. It's your responsibility to carry on our family's ways now that you're one of us. You have a long way to go, I'm afraid.
I've actually had your potatoes. They're too lumpy for my taste. And if you're such a stickler about family traditions, why offer up the secrets to an outsider like me? Why don't you go and set up a nice little mother and son cooking session with your precious Kevin? I really can't agree with the old-fashioned way of life where the woman has to do all the housework. Those days are way behind us, Camille. I went to college just like your son, and I have a career just like your son. I'm not about to come home from a long day at work to cook and clean and coddle a husband who won't lift a finger.
Oh, don't tell me you're planning on keeping your job. That is nonsense. You are a married woman now. You can't go out and work like a man. Absolutely unacceptable. Your duties are at home now. Be a good wife to your husband and bear him as many children as you can. Besides, it's not like your job makes as much as Kevin's. What are you, a secretary? I bet you make coffee and smile at business associates. That is not a job. You can always do that here, for me and your father-in-law.
I actually make a lot more than Kevin. I have 2 degrees from a university way better ranked than Kevin's alma mater. I resent your assumption about my job. Please refrain from belittling my hard-earned position in life. I worked really hard to get to where I am now.
That's quite enough now. I don't need to be arguing with you. I am your mother-in-law. You need to obey me. Hang on to every word like it is the gospel. Did your parents teach you nothing of value? Oh. Now, stop yapping about. Quit your job, come over to my house and sit down so I can teach you your place. Or else.
No, thank you. I'll pass. That sounds like the worst deal ever.
What? Have you lost your mind? Do you not understand the gravity of the situation here? You are on my last nerve, young missy. If you don't want to become a divorcee the day after your wedding, you better do what I say.
That actually doesn't sound so terrible. It doesn't sound terrible at all, actually.
Nonsense! You have no idea what you're saying. Now is not the time to be bluffing. I will not fall for it. I'm not stupid. A woman's value plummets once she's divorced. She's beyond damaged goods. Men really do age like fine wine. Their value keeps going up and up as they mature into their own style, make more money, accumulate more assets, etc. But women, it's like driving a brand new car off the lot. You lose over half its value the moment it hits pavement. You really have no idea how the world works, do you? Thank goodness I'm here now to guide you through it all. You're so lucky.
I think it's you who doesn't know how things work, at least in this world, in this day and age. It's 2022 for Christ's sake. Sure, Kevin and I had a wedding ceremony and a reception, and sure, we had over 200 guests witness our vows, but we haven't submitted any papers to the city office yet. We were going to do that after our honeymoon. I didn't want to deal with all the stress and waiting in line until after I had something fun and relaxing first. So, technically, Kevin and I are not married. Legally, we're just 2 buddies who just had an expensive party.
What? Kevin told me you 2 were going to City Hall to make it official first, before the wedding. It was last week, I'm sure of it.
You're right, we were going to do that the other day, but something urgent came up at my lame job, and I had to go on a last-minute business trip. So we had to postpone it. Man, what a stroke of luck. I'm already pretty upset about having to break things off with Kevin right after a big expensive wedding. But to think I was this close to actually becoming a divorcee? Yikes! I must have some guardian angel somewhere watching over me.
That is absurd. Why wouldn't you tell me that? Why wouldn't Kevin tell me that? Oh, look, I think I might have come off a little aggressive. I must have been too eager to assimilate you into our family that my words came out a bit harsh. I do apologize, dear. It was never my intention to scare you away or treat you like a slave. No, I would never do that. I wouldn't dream of it. I just felt this overwhelming responsibility to prep you to be the best darn Mrs. Dixon there ever was. You and I got off on the wrong foot. That's all there is to it. Please, let's just pretend this conversation never happened. There's no need to tell Kevin, right? He probably even booked a different itinerary for your honeymoon. He would have had a plan B in tow. Let's forgive and forget, shall we?
No, I can't just forget. While I do prefer you like this, with your tail between your legs, I can't pretend nothing happened today. No, that would be the dumbest thing. In my short 30 years of life, if I've learned one thing, it would be that once a cheater is always a cheater. I guess in this case you didn't cheat, but you get what I mean. Garbage is garbage. There's no point in trying to fix something that's already been discarded.
Are you comparing me to a piece of garbage? How dare you? I am your mother-in-law.
Well, technically, you're nothing to me. Remember? Kevin and I aren't legally married. So you're literally nothing but some old lady who tried to threaten me and force me into doing hard labor. It's laughable, really. Who does that? I'll have someone come pick up my stuff from my apartment. Maybe I'll find someone to sublet so I don't have to have any more ties to anything concerning the great Dixons. Since you seem to make all the decisions for Kevin, you can arrange something to get his stuff out of there yourself. I'm getting myself the hell out of this mess.
Wait, Jocelyn, let me explain.
Just like that, the day after my big wedding, I had to call it quits with my would-be husband. Of course, I was able to avoid being labeled a divorcee thanks to my impromptu business trip and a thing called an annulment. Kevin came begging for my forgiveness to take him back, saying it was all a silly misunderstanding between his mother and myself. I did not hesitate to tell him not in a million years. So there I was, trying my hardest to get back on track with my life and work again, when Camille reached out to me again out of the blue.
Hello, Jocelyn, dear. How are you? Well, I hope. I just couldn't help myself. I had to message you on a day like this. Today marks the first anniversary of you and Kevin's wedding day. Do you remember? You know, I still look at you and Kevin's wedding photos every once in a while. They never cease to bring a smile to my face. How absolutely gorgeous you looked, and how happy we all were that day, huh? It just breaks my heart to see you drifting farther and farther away from us, Jocelyn. Whatever happened to us? We were about to become one happy family.
Mrs. Dixon? You've got to be joking this time. You text me out of the blue after a year to what, play victim? What is wrong with you? Leave me alone. I'm already on edge because I am not a summer person and it's like 100 degrees outside. Besides, I'm at work and I'm extremely busy. You do remember my lame job, don't you?
Oh, you have not changed one bit, have you? You still have a way of talking like you want to bite someone's head off. Oh, how I miss that. It's a compliment. God knows women these days need some spunk. You couldn't imagine the repercussions I had to go through after Kevin and his father both blamed me for ruining your marriage. They won't let me live it down.
Boo-hoo! Cry me a river, won't you? Look, I have to get back to work. Goodbye.
Why don't you give it a good long thought? I'm sure you can find it in your heart to get back together with Kevin, can't you? You two were so very much in love for over 2 years. You can't pretend that never happened, all because of an old woman's rants. You see, Kevin still hasn't gotten over you, Jocelyn. He will barely speak to me anymore because he's still so angry with me. He says you were the best thing that ever happened to him, and that I ruined it all. Will you at least just think about it? Give it a good thought.
The answer is no. I am already seeing someone else. If you must know, his name is Todd, and I met him when I went on another business trip through my lame job. Of course, he knows all about my failed first marriage. He loves me regardless.
You are already in a new serious relationship. So soon? I didn't take you for a tramp, but what do I know? That's quite impressive, to say the least. It's only been a year since you broke things off with my Kevin. How could you have found someone so soon? Did you go on Tinder?
That's so ridiculous. Not that there's anything wrong with Tinder, but no, I didn't. Did you expect me to become a nun or something after a man-child like Kevin? As if. If I had to describe you Dixons as an animal, you'd be donkeys, and my fiancé Todd and his family would be like diamond unicorns. Todd's parents are extremely wealthy, and they act like it too. They even sent Todd to etiquette school as a kid. They are pure class, my future in-laws. You wouldn't know anything about that, though.
What a shallow bimbo you are. You think they'll be any different. How do you know they won't drop their nice act as soon as you say I do's? I'm not the minority here. My mother-in-law was very strict too. It's just how things are.
I know because I've seen how they treat servers at restaurants. And I'm talking 4 or 5-star restaurants. Oh, and did I mention they bought me and Todd a 4,000 square foot house by the lake? Under both our names, of course. Besides, they already have a butler and housekeeping staff, so they won't need a daughter-in-law to do their bidding. Anyway, like I said already, I have to get back to work. Don't ever call me or text me again. Goodbye. Fortunately, Camille and the rest of the Dixons got the message loud and clear and never dared to contact me again. I was finally able to enjoy my real honeymoon with the love of my life, Todd. Italy is truly a beautiful country, full of great food, music, and local people. After we came back from the dreamlike 10-day honeymoon, Todd's parents and sister had decorated our new house with garlands and balloons to welcome us into the family. I would have loved to invite them all over for a small dinner, but they were busy living their own lives, traveling and golfing. Todd's lovely parents also respect our privacy and don't bother us with pointless family gatherings except on holidays. Although I really love my new in-laws as my own parents, so I wouldn't have minded seeing them more often. I finally found a place where I belong. It's with Todd and our newly adopted cat named Umbrella. Oh, and it's a secret, but I'm 9 weeks pregnant. I'm looking forward like never before to a future that's full of hope and wonder. If this baby is a boy, I vow to him and to myself that I will never, ever be a horrible mother-in-law to his future wife. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more.